Hi everyone. Oh my God, I've been getting so much information coming to me and I wanted to share it with you, and it's kind of like a little bit of a segue, a trial run, which I'm trying to figure out the best way of how I'm going to present my information so that you guys can learn. You know, I can do it on the computer, but I feel like sometimes it's easier to understand and learn when there's a whiteboard and you can see it that way, and then I can point out to things. It's just a little easier, I feel, for people to learn. But you guys give me the feedback, because I think I need a bigger whiteboard than this, but I'm going to try it with this one because this is what I have right now. Now, I wanted to talk to you about the Fool's card, okay? Now, what I've discovered through the Kabbalah tree and through the tarot cards and through astrology and actually through Carl Jung's Red Book, okay? I don't know if you've ever read his Red Book, but he has 12 archetypes. They're all coded to the Kabbalah tree. That most people don't realize that, but I've coded it all out, and it's numerically perfect. They've designed it so it just goes through exactly by the numbers, okay? And I will teach you guys that, but I wanted to give a little segue of what's going on and to give you the information of how the Kabbalah tree is explaining what's happening right now. Now, I don't know if you guys heard that Trump created a Trump card, right? If you're a Trump supporter, you can get a Trump card. Now, these are called Trump cards, okay? And he is the fool, right? He's the trickster. The fool is the trickster. Carl Jung explains it in his Red Book, the trickster. Now, he also explains that you have to be the fool before you're saved, okay? And this is all part of philosophy, that you have to let go of your ego, be willing to be the fool. Now, what's interesting, you'll see the fool. This card isn't the typical one, but you can see he's like jumping off the cliff and he's happy. He's just doing his, you know, he's just going along in a bliss state, and he's going to jump off the cliff like he's an idiot, right? He's the fool. Now, the trickster, the fool, it's kind of like the Joker, right? He's the Joker also. So you see this in the Batman movies, and maybe I'll post it after, you know, when I go back on the computer, but there's lots of references to Trump being the Joker and the trickster. And he's like the shadow of Batman, right? So there's this symbolism. Now, what's interesting is the Fool card is usually playing music. He's very musical. He wants to kind of just go through life like, you know, happy. Now, what's fascinating in my life is that after my husband died, I was in obviously shock, right? My sister and her husband just committed suicide, and I just lost my husband, and I had a young daughter. Now, at the time, I was in a really bad way. And so I was lost, and I went to my little local town, went to a secondhand bookstore, and I said to the person in the bookstore, I'm lost, I got some bad karma going on, and I need to figure out what's going on. I need to, you know, go through my search, my spiritual search now. It was just like, it just hit me that I got to figure out why all these terrible things were happening to the people around me in my life. And the bookstore owner handed me the Kabbalah book. Now, I have not opened this book. I opened it when I got it, and I just looked at it and went, oh, you know, this is like too complex. I don't understand what the heck it's all about. And I put it on my shelf, right? And I only recently opened this about maybe 6 months ago, which is about 11 years since the passing, 11 being the pillars, since the passing of my husband. Now, what's crazy is, when I was on my journey of trying to figure out what the heck was going on, I went to a past life hypnotist, right? They take you and they hypnotize you and you go into a past life. Now, when I went into this past life, I was in medieval times. I was like a maiden, and somebody was trying to kill me. It was actually, you know, somebody that I knew, and they were trying to kill me in the river and trying to drown me. And my husband came along, and he was the fool. He was playing a flute and singing, and he came and saved me. okay? I'm getting goosebumps because you guys are the first people I've told about this. And it just hit me the other day, because I had no idea. You know, he's like playing a flute. I was like, oh, maybe, you know, I'm supposed to be happy, play music. I had no idea. And it just hit me that it's the Fool's card, okay? Now, that was a message, okay? My subconscious either did it or somehow, I don't know how it happened, but this is the key to freedom, is this card, okay? Now, I'm going to explain that to you on the Kabbalah tree. And, you know, playing music and having this bliss state is part of it. Now, of course, the Fool's card is the 0 card, right? And there's 22 cards, but, you know, there's only 21 actual numbers, right? So this can be the 22 card. And if you watch the Soul movie that Disney put out, the one that goes around in a bliss state and everybody thinks she's crazy because she doesn't really understand, you know, they keep telling her, you don't understand the meaning of life. And she's going, oh, everything's just beautiful. You know, everything's divine. It's all perfect. And the other guy's like, no, 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 you got to achieve something in life. You got to be, and she's number 22. They call her number 22 in the movie. Okay. And it's like, everybody thinks you're crazy when you're in this bliss state, when the chaos happens, right? This is what we're in right now. We're in tribulation. So it's like complete chaos. Now, what's interesting is I had to figure out which zodiac sign this card goes with. And it was a little tricky to figure out, but I figured it out. Now, on the Kabbalah tree, I'm going to show you this now. Okay, I don't know if you can see this really well. I know it's not super good, and I'm going to have to get better lighting. But he's up here, okay? He's up by the crown. Now, this path is called the 11th path. In Kabbalah, they have 11 to 32 paths, and these are the 22 paths. So they correlate to the tarot cards being 22, and also there's 22 Hebrew letters. So there's 20. I didn't put the Hebrew letters in, but I will later on, but I didn't want to get too complex here. Each path has a letter, okay? So this is where it all ties in, okay? So it ties into astrology, it ties into the Hebrew alphabet, which is what the Bible was written in. And so the saying that goes with the Fool card is as above, so below. Now, the letter is Elf, okay? A-L-E-P-H. And that is the first letter in the Hebrew alphabet. And it's drawn like a letter N. It kind of looks like an X, but but if you go back in history, that original card, that original letter was like an ox head. It was like Taurus, right? That's where Trump is born. He's born in between the two horns of Taurus, okay? So it all ties to the elf. Now, the elf is actually alpha. It changes into alpha in Greek alphabet. And in alpha, it is like, it's actually shaped, and I'll draw it here, it's like this, okay? So it looks like the letter A, but on the side. Now, if you turn that up, right, and you put it like this, like say here, I'm just gonna erase this, and I put, you know, and made it like an A, like this. I think I saw this in the, this logo is for the 2028 Olympics. They're using this for the LA Olympics. They're using this symbol, okay? Now it's the letter A, right? It just looks like the letter A, but it's really elf, okay? Now, if you put a line on it, you get the air symbol, which is on Freemasonry. The ladder is only with earth and air, right? The two pillars are fire and water, and the ladder has earth and air signs only, okay? Now, so it's air, it's breath, okay? So the alpha, that's the alpha, and it's the 0 Fool card. But when I decoded all this to Carl Jung's 12 archetypes, which is absolutely perfect, okay? That all the numbers are correlating to the tarot cards, okay? It's crazy, okay? Because Carl Jung, he said, there's a quote that he said, and he said, if you want to, if I had 10 years left to live, I would study astrology. Because astrology and combining it to the archetypes and understanding that it ties to the tree of life, you know how to get out of here, okay? And be free in this chaotic time, okay? So now, and they even say it's the ox, okay? Because originally it looked like an ox head, okay? Now, it's the 11th path in the Kabbalah. Now, here's what it says on the 11th path. I'll explain what it says here. Okay, it's scintillating path, facing the Creator, because the Creator is the crown. Okay, now scintillating, I did the etymology on it, and that is shining and glistening and being illuminated, and that's what it means, like being a star. Okay, so you're the illuminated one facing the Creator. And you have to be willing to be the fool. You have to be willing to just listen to God, and no matter what all the chaotic pillars are saying, you know, you got to fight, you got to be crazy over here, you got to fight for your rights, and over here you got, oh no, just follow the media. You know, these are two pillars, okay? There's two pillars going on. And yes, you do have to stand for justice. Justice is here, okay? And this is part of the Fool card. The Fool, because it's a 0, it has to go to one of the zodiac signs, okay? Because this path does not represent a zodiac sign. Not all the paths represent zodiac signs. There's 22 of them. There's only 12 zodiac signs, okay? So to put him in order with Carl Jung's Red Book, the only one that didn't have a place was justice. Now, look what that sign is. I don't know if you can see it. It's the balance, right? It's Libra. Libra goes with this path, okay? It's the lamed is the Hebrew letter. It's the 22nd path, okay? So we got the 11th path and the 22nd path. Now, when was JFK murdered? November 22nd, okay? So this is Alpha, this is Omega. Now we have this in the Bible, right? It's Revelation 22:13. I am Alpha and Omega, the first and last, beginning and end, okay? So now, this is, the word with this is the ox goad, which is just like something, it's really gross actually. It's a stick with spikes in it, and they swing it, it's called the ox goad, and it takes out people, right? So it's violence, really. It's like justice, but justice is balance, right? The Libra symbol is balance. Now, the reason I'm talking about these is because I had to figure out the Fool card is air. There's only 2 other air signs in the whole zodiac. The one is Libra, which is here. This is cardinal. Cardinal cross is Libra. And if you go back in history, the Libra symbol was the Omega symbol, okay, in old alchemic texts. So this is the Omega. This is why I know it's the Omega. Now, it looks like a keyhole, right? Ophiuchus is the door, and you need the key to get in, which is Chiron. Chiron, alchemic symbol, is the key, okay? So you need the key to get into Ophiuchus, the 13th zodiac, and walk through the door holding your snake, okay? Because we're like snakes. We're spirit beings, and you come in, you get a meat suit, and then you shed that meat suit, and then you get a new meat suit. So we're kind of like snakes, right? And the snake is your kundalini that awakens you, that goes up your, the back of your head, out your third eye. Now, out of all the air signs, here they are, okay? On the fixed cross, we have Aquarius, which is ruled by Saturn. That's the air sign on the fixed cross. It's over here, okay? This is the Phoenix. And it's the Star Tarot card. Now, I think the star is Fomolo, because the word that goes with this on the Kabbalah is fishhook. And you'll see this on, when I do my readings, the first page of Freemasonry, there's the green lady standing on the ladder, and she has a fishhook in one hand, and she has the key in the other, okay? The key is the other Saturn sign, which is Capricorn. Now, he's on the cardinal cross, okay? Now, this Libra symbol, the Omega symbol, is ruled by Venus. It's love, right? Love. That's the other fixed one, air sign, is ruled by Saturn. The other air sign is Gemini. It's ruled by Mercury. Now, the reason I know this Fool card can't go with the Gemini path, which is the lovers. It's the sword. The reason it's called discern. The reason I know it's not that one is because if you go in ancient mythology about the constellation Gemini, the Polex, his mother was Leda, and she had relation with Jupiter, Zeus, and he became the sun, and he ends up being immortal. He can go through both worlds. He goes back and forth. Now, his brother, Castor, same mother, Leda, but she had him with a king. Okay, so they're two male twins. One is mortal and one is immortal. Sometimes they're seen as horses. Okay, now the interesting part about that is if you go into history about the Navy people, the people on ships, they would always look at Gemini, and they would watch for St. Elmo's fire. Now, St. Elmo's fire is called the Lydian lights, just like the mother, okay, because her name was Leda. So the Lydian lights, and this created, they were terrified of this. It was a warning, a bad warning, like a curse, okay? So this is the curse. Now, how I see this is that you can become immortal, or you can just be stuck and be immortal. So it's like your shadow. The twins are like the other you that you have to unite with. You have to be able to have love and kind of unite with your own darkness. Okay, so this is on the mutable cross, because people going to the mutable cross haven't really come to terms with their shadow. Okay, they're in fear. Okay, and when you're in fear mode, you haven't come to terms with your shadow. You're still in this kind of not understanding that you have to transmute the fear to become enlightened, which is what you have to do. That's your shadow. You have to transmute it. Okay, so I know it's not this one. I know it's not mutable. Okay, and then the fixed cross we know is collapsing. Right? This is what we're in. Okay, this is going down. So, you know, it could be Phoenix. Okay, you could say, okay, well, the Fool is the Phoenix. Well, it is, but this cross is collapsing, where, you know, you have to jump out of, you have to burn and come out of it. But if you think of it this way, the Fool goes with justice. So the Fool is the Alpha, and this is the Omega. Now, if you take the numbers in Kabbalah, what these Hebrew letters represent, the Fool represents number 1, okay, numerically in the Kabbalah book. It's 1. Justice is 30, so you got 31. Now, I'll show you that I found somebody that had decoded all this, and they said the Tower goes with these 3, and I'll explain that to you when I go on the and do the video part of it, and I'll show you how that all works. But the Tree of Life, the Alpha and the Omega, right? The tree is the key. Now, what's really funny is that I just started watching Outer Banks. It's like this Netflix show, and it's about a bunch of teenagers, and they're the kind of like the not wealthy kids against the rich kids, and it's just like a teenager show. You can kind of go, it's just they're on a treasure hunt. Okay, so they find this ship and blah blah blah. Well, his dad was looking for a ship, and it's all with gold. Now, the gold that they find has the symbol of the wheat. Okay, and the gold's making them all crazy. They want to find the ship, And as the show progresses, I don't want to tell you the whole story, but they have to find the key to enlightenment on a cross. Okay, they find the keyhole in a tree. Okay, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I just couldn't believe that the whole story was on this Netflix. Every single Netflix show that I watch, every series, it always comes to the two paths, every single one. So you have to find the key, and the key was in the tree. Now, this omega symbol, if you go and look at the alchemic symbol for death and for life, the omega is death, okay? Upside down like this, upside down like this is life, okay? But the other way is death. So you have to, death is not really like you're dead, you know, it's transformation. Right? You have to transform yourself. And this is what Scorpio and Ophiuchus mean. That's Pluto. This here, this diaph is like, if you look at all the Sephiroths, there's 10 of them. They don't say this is number 11, but I put it in there because there's one, but they don't give it a number. It's because it's behind the tree. Do you see how all the rest are in the front of the tree? This one is behind the tree. This is ruled by Pluto. It's very hard to find this information. You'll go and look and they'll tell you Pluto's up here, okay? But I'll teach you guys where all the planets are on this whole thing. And it's really fascinating because it shows you the twofold key on the zodiac. And if you go read about the Kabbalah, there's a twofold key, okay? But it has to do with astrology. Okay, so this is the diaph, and this is, you know, you could say Pluto rules Scorpio, but the upper house of Scorpio is Ophiuchus. So the door out of here, you know, and Scorpio is death, right? He's death. He rules the 8th house, which can be death, okay? So it's like this, you have to die in a way and transform yourself. And I think it's the death of your ego, right? It's like you have to be the fool and get rid of your ego and be willing to play the fool trump card, which is what Trump is doing. That's why he's always acting like the trickster and the idiot. He always makes, you know, people think he's such an idiot, he can't spell, he can't speak. It's because he's being the fool, okay? Now, you have to have justice. You have to want balance and you want justice. So it has to awaken your inner flame. Now, if you go and look at, I just posted this on my Instagram, I think today, the tribe of Dan, is always the balance, okay? So the tribe of Dan is the ones that disappear and live out of the matrix. They get to have a break, right? This is kind of awakened souls want to go to that route, right? We don't want to be stuck in the chaos and the matrix and the whole lockdown AI thing, okay? So yeah, so this is how it all works. Now, so anyhow, this tower, which is the tree of life, the number that goes with this is 80. So we have, I know the lighting is bad here, but we have the Fool is 1, Justice is 30, and Tower is 80. It comes to 111. Now, it's crazy because I started driving because we have kilometers in Canada, and I drive at 111. I've been driving at 111 like on the highway for about a year now. And I always feel like it's lucky, right? And that's really fascinating that adds up to that. Now, the interesting part about 111, when you go on the hours during one single day, Cancer, who is on the cardinal cross, right, is 11 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon. So it's 111. And Capricorn, who's on the cardinal cross, is 11 at night till 1 in the morning. Okay? So it's all ties into astrology. It just blows my mind. So anyhow, I think that's really what I wanted to say. Oh, and then we have this is the 17th, tarot card. The star is the Phoenix. So, we know number 17, the 17th day of Athor month ties into what I believe, is going to be trumps exiting the matrix. Okay, now, you know, being Osiris and representing King Arthur, you know, they all have to kind of leave. They have to go through the death door. Okay, so I think this is important, this star, and like I said, I think it's Fomolo, which is at the bottom of Aquarius. It's the one of the fixed stars. There's only 4 fixed stars, right? Aquarius, it's all the signs on the fixed cross. They all have a fixed star, and that's what the zodiac is kind of based on, those 4 fixed stars. Aquarius's fixed star is at its feet in a fish. It's not really in Aquarius. It's a fish at the bottom of Aquarius, and that's Fomolo, and that's why it's the fish hook. Okay, because you got to get the fish, and you're the fish. You got to you got to pull yourself out of here. Okay, so, and you have to be righteous. Everybody keeps telling me I'm righteous, you know, and I'm like, oh, thank you, because I know that's what you have to be in these times. You have to, you know, just having an opinion that's not mainstream makes you righteous, right? So, and then they call you the fool. So this is what I wanted to show you, how this is all beautiful. Okay, it's all what we're supposed to be doing, but you have to have love and balance. You can't just be I don't know, like angry with justice, because this is ruled by Venus. So your justice has to be balanced. It has to be seeing the illusion and not be on the other pillar and just be angry, okay, and fighting for your rights, because we can't stop this. You know, they just created vaccine passports, mandatory in Quebec. I know Alberta, you know, it's no mask, no nothing, but Quebec, you know, we're Eastern Canada is very, very, very left mentality. So now we got the vaccine passport. So, you know, I'm not going to be able to go into stores eventually. You know, it's going to get really crazy here, but I'm okay with it, because I'm kind of like, it's all divine. This is the path of life. Okay. And you have to be willing to step out of the matrix. You have to be willing to let go of materialism. Well, what is materialism? It's buying, you know, to buying, consuming through buying. And it's also your body. Your body is materialism. Okay, so you have to be willing to let go of everything, and even willing to transform your body. Okay, which is what ascension is. It would be, you know, the death symbol. Okay, so your transformation. Now, the other path over here is the Quaff. It's the moon card, the tarot card, the moon card. And it's ruled by Pisces, which is really religion, right? It can be institutional religion. It's a spiritual house. It rules the 12th house, which is kind of the way out of here too. But it's the back of the head, okay? Now, the back of the head is where JFK got shot, okay? And they put him in a queue, okay? So it relates to, and it's also ruled by 2 and 9, 29. So you got the 9/11 kind of number there. It has to do with speech, okay? Now, this I will get into later. It's very, very, very important. And this speech thing shows up in the Disney movie Ariel, right? Because Ursula, she's the storm. She's like Neptune in a way. Well, you know, she's the storm. And she takes her voice and she says, poor despicable souls, you know, she takes the voices from the souls. And that's the moon. There's another moon on here. There's another, well, Cancer. Okay, and I'll tell you what that is. So one moon is you get your voice taken away, and the other moon has to do with your Merkaba body. Okay, so the moon is half good, half bad, like everything else. Okay, so now what did I want else to say? Oh yeah, so the Yesod is 9. So you want to go up the middle path. Really, that's kind of part of this whole thing. You're going the middle path. When you're on the pillars, you know, you're bouncing back, but you will bounce back and forth. They also create like a lightning bolt through the paths. Okay, so you go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's like, it goes like this. So this is the lightning that it represents on the Tower card, right? There's always a big lightning bolt, okay, that goes through it. And this is the tree. So anyhow, what I wanted to say was 9, 11, right? You got 9, 11. You also got 6 and 9, which is Cancer. You also have 10 and 1, which is 11, 11, 11, right? So all the numbers are there. So yeah, so anyhow, I just wanted to tell you guys that because it really had a huge importance to me when I figured out what my husband was trying to tell me when I went into my past life regression. He was telling me, be the fool, just sing, be happy, and let go, right? And I think, you know, it's fascinating that I picked up this book right at that time. And now here it's saying here, the Hebrew letter Quaff, meaning back of the head, the moon, dogs howling at the moon, menstruation, the beetle, well, we know that, the scarab beetle. It's Pisces, the dark night of the soul. Many of these symbols will be found on the tarot cards. The moon, which relates to this path. The tarot cards, therefore, can be seen and used as associated symbols for the past. It is not a coincidence that there are 22 trumps in the tarot. So they relate to 20 new connecting paths of the tree when the 22 Hebrew letters. Okay, so yeah, so they're just saying that. What else I want to say? So then you can go, you know, and look at the past. That's what, when you have the Kabbalah book, you can go, okay, so this is the scintillating path facing the creator, is this path being the fool. Okay, this is the 11th path. The 22nd path is saying the faithful path, increasing spiritual virtue. So you know, you're fighting for your justice, but you're increasing your spiritual virtue because you're willing to speak your mind and fight for your rights, but it's not the completeness, okay? It's like you're still on that path, increasing your spiritual virtue because you have to become the fool eventually. Now the 27th path is exciting path, the nature of existence. Well, yeah, because we start to see the two paths. And anyhow, so in this show, they, this Outer Banks show, they end up finding the cross. They get the key and open it, and a moth flies out. Well, Ophiuchus is the moth, right? So I just, you know, it's just like, whoa, it's everywhere. So they're definitely showing us, you know, all of this stuff. And then, let's see here. This is the 29th path. The Corporal Path, the formation of the body. Yeah, see, it's not really spiritual, okay? This isn't really spiritual, this path. And so, yeah, but, you know, it's funny because the Quaff ends up being the Q, which is kind of weird, right? Because of the Q movement, is it going to put you here? Or does it put you with the number 17, which Q is the 17th letter? So it's like you could be in that movement and be the phoenix, or you could be losing your speech, you know, by getting, it's basically a needle, a pin in the back of your head. And I see this as AI, right? This is the AI path, okay? So yeah, so anyhow, that's it. I think, I know it's probably, the board needs to be bigger, but I wanted to just go over all that with you. And I think that's pretty much it for today. So thanks for staying with me, and give me some feedback. Maybe, you know, maybe this isn't the way you want to see it. Let me know. And if I have a bigger board, maybe that'll be easier and better lighting. But I'm just trying to figure out the best way to help you guys see this information. Because if I just wrote it all out here, it's almost like too much. It's almost like I need to fill it in as I'm speaking so you can see all the paths. Like every path has information, right? So it's fascinating, but it all ties into astrology. So, you know, be proud to be the fool, right? And, you know, it's you're standing in front of God. Okay, you're gleaming and glistening like a star in front of the creator when you're the fool. Don't be embarrassed when they call you a conspiracy theorist. or you're an anti-vaxxer or whatever they want to call you. It's okay, because it's like this is really our true destiny. So hang in there tight. I know it's getting pretty stressful out there, and I think it's just just keep working on yourself, work on your inner strengths, and trying to do that, and also work through the body, keep the body strong, and connect to nature. It's summertime, so that's it. Signing out. Bliss you guys. Take care. Bye. So here's the elf from Wikipedia, and you can see all the different letters, the Phoenician, the Hebrew, and all the different symbols and how they've changed and evolved over time. So you can see here the pictograph is the ox head. And then it also looks like the N, right? So it's the yod, and then the va, which is like a nail, right? So this is how you get the N looking shape. And then we have the A on the side, which I explained was the Olympic symbol for the LA Olympics in 2028. They're using that symbol. And then it's explaining here how it has turned into the Greek alpha. So they're showing here biblical texts to the letter in the Bible. So Hebrews 12:29, there's a few of them there. 1 John 1.5 and 1 John 4:16, Isaiah 10:17. So you can check those out, and this is all referencing to elf and the metaphors of God. So him being the alpha and the omega. So here they're depicting different places where omega is used. There's the logo for Omega watches. There's the logo for the Heroes of Olympus. Pokemon, Omega Ruby. Just pulling a few of them out here. So the symbol of resistance movement against the Vietnam era draft in the United States with the Omega symbol. Year or date of death. I told you, the Omega is the death, but it's also it's Libra, and Libra is also the dove, okay, the white dove of peace, because it's balance, right, ruled by Venus. The symbol for the end of everything. The personal symbol for death, as worn by Death in the Discworld series. So, they're saying it's the death, so I just wanted to show you that. But here's interesting, it's RNA. So, this is all tying into Corona. So, yeah, so I'm sure there's more that you can find, the meanings, of it being used. But I just wanted to show that because I was explaining that in the video. And I just want to thank you guys for helping support my channel. I really appreciate it, because this seems to be my new, trying to become my new profession in life. And I do really appreciate your support. And if you just want to support me by, getting the Ascension Guide, which is stuff that I put together to help with your body and understanding how to become in bliss state, basically becoming the fool and being in bliss. So I'm going to continue sharing stuff with you guys because it's really exciting, and I'm really happy that this is all starting to be what all this chaos is about. It's finding that middle path and be the fool and be in bliss. Here's the tribe of Dan, who judged the people. It's really the scales, Libra, and then you see the white dove and then the snake. And it's interesting, in this Outer Banks show on Netflix, the hero of the show, half the show, he has this t-shirt on with the snake, on his back. So it's like, that's really what it is. If you want to be free of this whole chaos and do your upgrade, spiritual upgrade, you have to be the snake and balance, and walk through the Ophiuchus door holding that snake and have love and bliss and peace in your heart, being Libra. That's how you get out of here, guys. The inner work.